John Richard. I'm the attorney for the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority, and I'm here to open the public comment meeting. I'm going to start, it is 10:02 in the morning. I'm going to start by simply reading the notice that was published in the legal organ, I believe last week, that states the purpose for this morning's meeting. This is notice regarding purpose of November 27, 2023 public meeting to receive comments on materials recovery facility and leachate evaporation facility. This public hearing held on November 27, 2023 is the final public hearing in accordance with OCGA 12-8-24D and the rules and regulations of the state of Georgia for solid waste management 391-3-4-.034. Each of these requirements are provided as follows. OCGA 12-8-24D. If the director determines that such solid waste handling activity will result in any violation of this part or any rule or regulation promulgated pursuant to this part, he shall deny the permit. Otherwise, he shall issue the permit, specifying on the permit the conditions under which such solid waste handling activity shall be conducted, provided, however, that a public hearing shall be held by the governing authority of the county or municipality in which the municipal solid waste or special solid waste handling shall occur, not less than 2 weeks prior to the issuance of any permit under this code section, and notice of such hearing shall be posted at the proposed site and advertised in the newspaper of general circulation serving the county or counties in which the proposed activity will be conducted at least 30 days prior to such hearing. Regulation 391-3-4.034, public participation. The governing authority of the county or municipality will hold a public hearing not less than 2 weeks prior to the issuance of any permit, except for a private industry disposal facility, and notice of such hearing shall be posted at the proposed site in a location closest to the primary existing entrance or primary proposed entrance where it can be viewed unaided from a public right-of-way and advertised in the newspaper of general circulation, serving the county or counties in which the proposed activity will be conducted at least 30 days prior to such hearing. A typed copy of the transcript shall be submitted to the division. The public notice for this public hearing was published in the Herald Gazette editions dated October 24th and November 14th, 2023. A sign regarding the notice of public hearing was posted at the primary entrance to the Entercon facility located at 490 Industrial Drive, Barnesville, Georgia 30204 on or about October 27, 2023. The public notice in the Herald Gazette and the sign posted reads as follows. In accordance with section 12-8-24D of the Georgia Comprehensive Solid Waste Management Act as amended, the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Management Authority will hold a public hearing regarding the issuance of a solid waste handling permit for the materials recovery and leachate evaporation facility to be located at the former Entercon property located at 490 Industrial Drive, Barnesville, Georgia 30204. The public hearing will be held on November 27, 2023 at 10 a.m. at the Milner Community Library Meeting Room, 159 Main Street, Milner, Georgia. This final public hearing is held to receive citizen input on the proposed solid waste handling permit for the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority materials recovery facility and leachate evaporation facility. A typed copy of the transcript of this hearing will be submitted to the Georgia Environmental Protection Division prior to the issuance of the solid waste handling permit. Solid waste handling is the storage, collection, transportation, treatment, utilization, processing, or disposal of solid waste, or any combination of such activities, but does not include recovered materials processing or pyrolysis or gasification to fuels and chemical processes, or the holding of post-use or non-recycled feedstock at a pyrolysis facility or gasification to fuels and chemicals facility prior to processing at the facility where those materials are being held to ensure production is not interrupted. The site to the regulation for that is 391-3-4.0180. A materials recovery facility is a solid waste handling facility that provides for the extraction from solid waste of recoverable materials, materials suitable for use as fuel or soil amendment, or any combination of such materials. Solid waste disposal is not proposed at the subject facility. Leachate is a liquid that has passed through or emerged from solid waste and contains soluble, suspended, or miscible materials removed from such waste. Leachate and other liquid wastes will be processed by evaporation at the proposed facility. An air quality operating permit amendment number 4953-1711-0011-V-04-1 has already been issued by the Georgia Environmental Protection Division for evaporation operations. The solid waste handling permit for the solid waste handling activities previously described as the materials recovery facility and leachate evaporation facility are the subject of this public hearing. Citizen input is requested specifically pertaining to these solid waste handling activities. This public hearing does not pertain to the Lamar County Grove Street Extension landfill, Cedar Grove Municipal Solid Waste Landfill, or GFA Loan 2014 L08SW. I have a public comment sheet where we've got folks that have signed up. Comments are limited to 5 minutes per person. When you come to the microphone, please state your name and your address. As I said, this meeting is to receive public comment by the EPD regulations. This is not a town hall meeting, so you're free to ask questions, but at this point, the court reporter is taking down all of this information. It will all be submitted to EPD for EPD's evaluation as part of the permitting process. The first person that I've got listed is Dwight Fleming.
Dwight Fleming, 1011 Van Buren Road, Barnesville. I know we're not supposed to ask about when the actual process is going to begin on the waste to energy project, but of real concern to me at this point is when you start transporting the materials from the landfill over to the Intercon building for processing, what's the neighborhood going to be subjected to in terms of odor?
Next person that I have listed is Harold Jackson.
Good morning. I think the first question on my list has already been answered by the attorney, and that was why we need a permit now, simply doing. Why was this not done in 2017 when this project was supposed to have been set up and running? Why didn't we apply for an expedient air quality permit only this year? The next question is when Roger Yeomans blew up the first prototype, why did you rehire him, an obvious careless work welder, to do the taking apart of the equipment going into the Intron building? How can his work be trusted now?
Next is Elaine Halata.
Elaine Halata, 131 Steeplechase, Barnesville, Georgia. My question is this meeting even being held legally? You mentioned on more than one occasion that there was an ad in the November 14th Herald Gazette. There was never an ad in this Herald Gazette. By the rules, this meeting would have been held 2 weeks after, November the 14th. So if you do this how you're supposed to, the next paper comes out November the 28th. So 2 weeks after that, you would have this hearing December the 11th. 2 weeks after that, the minimum requirement, which is written in here, is that means the permit might be issued as early as December the 25th. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Right now, that's probably the earliest they could do it. We know the project has not started. You have missed all the deadlines since the inception of the secret sauce you told us about Johnny Port. So you're definitely not meeting your December the 1st mandate, okay? It also says that the governing authority of the county or municipality will hold a public hearing not less than 2 weeks prior to the issuance of a permit. That means that the Lamar County Commission should be holding this meeting, not the Lamar County Solid Waste Authority. Okay? Also, I went out yesterday or the day before and I took a picture of the front of, or the new entrance going into the Entercron building. Okay, the road you're building back there does not connect to Industrial Drive. I've also called and asked the Lamar County building office, and yes, you have building permits issued for you to reconfigure, for you to build out the Entercron building. However, you have never asked for a permit. Okay, it has never had a final inspection. How can we issue an air permit for a building that you legally are not supposed to even be operating in? Okay, and then my last question, it goes back to some, because we asked for some open records months ago, which we never got, which would answer a lot of the questions that we have as citizens. I want to know how an open request, since you hired your new litigator, okay, how our open requests go from $15 an hour to over $60 an hour, so that we can see what was supposed to be done, when it was supposed to be done, and that has never occurred. So once again, how do you get an air quality permit in a building that you have not been, has not been permitted, has not been inspected? We shouldn't even be having this meeting today, folks.
Next is Cindy Bushby.
My name's Cindy Bushby, 155 Redbone Run, Barnesville, Georgia. I know I cannot ask you about this board's violation of their own bylaws, but how do you plan to control the odor? What if there is a spill or leak? How will that be handled, and how many hours, days, or weeks will we have to put up with the stinky air? I also know I cannot ask you about the deadline set by GFA, but what does leachate smell like? Thank you.
Next is Bonnie Martin.
Bonnie Martin, 626 Piedmont Road. I know we cannot ask about how much money the board members have received over the years, but what are your emergency fire protocols if there's a fire, and how's the air pollution going to affect our community? I hope that is all in the plans that we haven't heard about. Thank you.
Next is Greg Martin.
Greg Martin, 626 Piedmont Road. Barnesville, Georgia. I know we cannot ask why bids were not used in most cases to proceed with the project, but if Lamar County is not a hazardous waste facility, how are we going to know how many trucks per day and where these leachate trucks are coming from? Will we have an active website where the citizens can view a live stream video to monitor trucks coming into the site?
Next is John Carroll.
John Carroll, 530 Thomason Street. Some of the questions I was gonna ask have already been asked, but since I know that we can't ask about the $23 million that's already been spent on this project so far, I did want to ask about why no permit was applied for in 2017 when this project was supposed to be up and running, why you waited until the last minute. I also had a question, since our county now has logging trucks from a quarry, and now we're going to be having trucks carrying in leachate to our county. And as far as I know, our landfill is not a hazardous waste site. How are we to be assured what is actually filtering in through this leachate to Lamar County? What is coming in on these trucks? And how will we know for sure exactly what it is? I mean, we already have an odor problem coming from that dump, and now we're going to have our roads clogged with logging trucks, quarry trucks, and trucks coming into the landfill. And then my last question is, since none of the recent Freedom of Information requests have been fulfilled for some reason, I would like to know who exactly has been installing this latest batch of equipment, and if the company JMA from South Carolina was involved in it. Thank you.
Next is Dixie Benson.
All right, Dixie, you have your own door. I'm Dixie Benson. I live at 399 Grove Street. I can easily see the new mountain from my front step. I need to know, will the leachate trucks be only from our own landfill? Are we just doing the recycling from our own landfill, or are we bringing it in from other areas? Also, will there be a restriction of hours of operation? Because you have noise and you have the potential for smell, I would be interested to know, is there a cutoff, or does this run 24 hours a day? I know I have chickens at my house, and as long as you leave things alone, for the most part, it's not too bad, you know, as far as the smell. But once you start digging that stuff up, it releases a lot of odor. So being just a neighbor down the street, I would like to know that as this stuff is being dug up and moved around on trucks and stuff, what is that going to do to the air quality of the odor in my neighborhood? So, thank you.
Last we have Donald Hartman.
My name is Donald Hartman, 507 Old Milner Road. Our property is about 300 feet. You've probably heard this before in other meetings, to the east of the Intercon building. Our family property extends, that would cover Old Milner Road, everything from the south end of the Intercon building to the far north end of the Intercon building. So not only by myself, but other family members have Intercon in our front yard. Now, some of the things I've noticed since we moved up here and have joined our family on our family property. Back in March 5, I called in a fire. The mountain was on fire. Luckily, I noticed it in time, got it under control. We've had a previous explosion back 4/13 in my nose. And I don't know what truly the fire protocol is this, Most folks have to report this to EPA, EPD. Has that been done? Have we followed protocol? Have we followed policies, procedures? Again, I have a lot of questions about the facility. I guess one thing I don't see a lot of, and this is supposed to be for the people, as you say, you're gonna make all this money. Where is transparency? Last meeting we attended at the Intercon building, the windows were covered. Why did the public not see in the building? Where's the transparency? From what I can see, not even going on the property, it doesn't look like there's a lot in the building. Now I see a new structure going out the roof. Guess there's a permit for it, as well as other permits that would be required. You know, pyrolysis, pyrolysis, however you want to say it, it produces a various toxic gases, mainly carbon monoxide, as I've tried to become educated about this. The toxicity of particulate matter emitted from waste-to-energy plants. That's a big concern. I don't know how many other folks have opened up, gone to Google as I have, and done readings and tried to educate myself. Here is a very main concern for myself. And I don't know who the timekeeper is, but patent pending, scary term to me. Prototype, another scary term. You know, some of the readings I've gone back, as I go to my phone here, April 14, 2013, Barnesville.com. Explosion at a feedstock hopper, Cedar Grove landfill, caused by a series of errors, maintenance and human, said Seaborn Crosby. He's president of Paradigm Manufacturing, inventor of the process. Inventor, prototype. There's so many stuff out there that's proven technology, and why didn't we go with it? Why do we have to invent something? Do we reinvent the wheel? I don't think so. But there's a lot of things I see here. We tried to get a patent pending. Somebody wants to make money. Somebody wants to make a name for themselves. Look what I made. I invented this. That's what I get. That's what some of my family members get. Some of the public I've talked to, that's the same feeling that they get. And I don't think that's right. And again, something that's basically 300 feet in my front yard, I have a lot of concern about. You know, I made a statement earlier one time. Johnny Poor said, no odor, no noise. But I had somebody that's on the Solid Waste Authority tell me about we're gonna put a berm up. Where we cut down the bamboo next to the railroad track, we're gonna put a berm up. Why would a berm be needed? I'm sorry. If it's gonna be no noise or no odor, no berm. That's a waste of money. And I don't know how many folks have been by the facility. It's atrocious. The offices are atrocious. Why do you still have intercom stuff up? They're gone. The backyard, east of the building, it looks like a dump itself. I'm surprised the fire marshal hasn't done a thorough investigation of this building and said, look, there could be hazmat waste here. This is too much clutter here. Clean the place up. You got a pile of garbage cans over there just, if they're junk, why haven't you done something with them? Clean it up. Make it look reasonable. It looks like a dump site itself. When you can't manage that, that makes me wonder, what can you manage? You've had failures. You've made promises. Oh, we're gonna be up and going. You know, the money that we're gonna get back. Just several things. The toxicity of particulate matter emitted from waste-to-energy plants is associated to the compounds attached to particulates, several of which have been classified by the Internal Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, in Group 1 carcinogens. Other thing, transportation. Let's jump into it real quick. What are you going to be hauling on our roads? You're going to be hauling hazmat? A lot of materials have to be from cradle to the grave tracking. What's your path? Again, what times of day? What are your backup plans in case there is a hazmat? Or is the Lamar County Solid Waste, are y'all gonna go into transportation of these? If so, you've gotta have trained personnel. You've got to have DOT numbers. You've got to apply as a motor carrier. You're gonna run an incineration plant, where are you gonna get the trained personnel? Because again, prototype, we're testing. I have a lot of question marks on the safety of what's gonna happen across the street.
You're over your time if you want to finish up.
Oh, I'm over my time? I'll make one final statement, thank you. Critics call pyrolysis or pyrolysis an inexpensive and immature technology with startups that haven't come and gone over the years, unable to meet their pollution control limits or technical and financial goals. With that, thank you for the extra time. I conclude my session. Thank you. Appreciate that.
That concludes the public comment meeting. We will be transmitting all of these comments through the written transcript to the EPD. And we thank you for your attendance.
I'd like to make a statement to everybody that's in here today. We actually created this room for extra time until 1 p.m. So, if you guys wanna have a little town hall,